Hello, my name is Cliff Goodman, and we're here this morning, or this afternoon, whichever it may be, to introduce you to how to play Canasta. So the first thing we're going to do is look at these items. These are cards. So you can, these are bicycle cards. You can get these at Costco. These are standard playing cards. These are also bicycle cards. They are bridge-size cards. They're a little bit smaller and easier to hold in your hand. And these were compliments of Oceania Cruise Lines. They're even a little bit narrower than the other cards. You can also purchase Canasta cards from the same place that you probably can buy a Canasta tray and a shuffler. Not necessary for everybody. You can also buy racks to hold the cards. I don't use a rack. I keep the cards in my hand. They fit just like this. Fine. But people do other things. The positive thing about buying a Canasta deck is that it has all the point values of the cards on them. So that'll be the next thing we discuss is the point value of cards, which is right up here. So we use 2 decks of cards. If you're going to buy cards, you should buy 2 decks of blue, 2 decks of red, so that when you're using one set of 2 decks, somebody else could be shuffling the other one. So we're using all the cards in the deck, so you'll be playing with 108 cards. So jokers are wild and they're worth 50 points. Deuces are wild, they're worth 20 points. Aces are worth 20 points. King, queen, jack, 10, 9, 8 are all 10-point cards. 7, 6, 5, 4 are 5-point cards. Threes are interesting cards. 1 3 of a particular color, not suit, particular color, is worth 100 points. 2 cards of a particular color are worth 300 points. 3 cards of the same color are worth 500, and all 4 of the same color are worth 1,000. Now, this could be good or bad for you. If you do make 2 canasters, they count positive for you. So if you make 2 canasters, you would have the value of the 2 canasters plus 1,000 points. If you do not make any canasters, they're all minus. So if you have 4 of the same color, you're minus 1,000 points plus everything in your hand or on the table. So just remember that. So we'll talk about canasters now. There's 2 different types of canasters. A natural canasta, which is worth 500 points, and a broken or unnatural canasta, which is only worth 300 points. Either one, if you get 2 canasters, you can go out. Now, we'll talk more about that later. The only time you can use broken aces is when you open. And this is a good example. Joker, joker, 50-50, 20-20, it's 140. We need 125 to open it the first time. And a natural of 3. So that, let me grab this. The first time you open or meld, you need 125 points consisting of something like this and a natural 3 of a kind. You cannot open natural with 3 sevens. Okay? Never, ever, ever, ever. Okay? The same way you would not open a natural 3 aces. Because if you don't make all 7 aces, you're minus 2,500 points. So you can do broken aces only to open. You can never put them down after that. So the 2 things with aces and sevens, you should never really keep more than 2 sevens in your hand or 2 aces in your hand unless you're looking to open with them. So in the beginning of the game, it's fine to hold 3 aces, sometimes 4. If you're looking to open, that's the only way you can do it. So in order to get 125 points, you need some wild cards, okay? Or if you had 5 aces, no. Okay, so you can only use, you get dealt 13 cards, okay? If you're dealt a 3, you get to replace the 3 when it's your turn. So you only have 13 cards in your hand, and then the draw, and you pick a 14th card, but you have to throw one away. So the only time, in order to open, you would need to, the maximum number of cards you can use is 12 out of your hand. The only exception is when you're picking the deck. Okay? So if you pick the deck, then you can use all the cards in your hand to open. And sometimes you do. I mean, it's not really good to open with using a lot of cards in your hand. Sometimes you may want to wait. Even though you have opening points and you have to use 10 cards out of your hand, it's not really a great idea because you don't have very many cards to play with. But in case where you see your partner's not able to open and you're coming down and it's close to the end, you may have to open that way. Another thing is that if you are dealt 3 aces or you accumulate 3 sevens, if you dealt 3 sevens or pick a third 7, you should throw that 7 to tell your partner that you have 2 more, which may take him off the hook. Because once you throw that 7, he knows you have 2. He can release his 7s and give you a count. So you can wind up picking the deck with 7s, and that's 2,500 points. So there are special canastas. All right? So let's talk more about opening. So we talked about this one, Joker, Joker, Ace, Ace, gives you 140, 155 points. So that when you first play the first round, everybody needs 125 points to open. Once you get 3,000 points, you need 155 to open. So this would satisfy the 155. When you get 5,000 points, you need 180 to open. And that's when it gets a little more difficult. Because unless you get some jokers or a very strange hand, you're not going to be able to open. The total point value of the game is 8,500, so the first team to get this wins. They can make 8,500 points, that's finished. Going out, you need to have 2 canastas and be able to lay down all your cards except the 1 discard. You can only ask your partner once if he wants to go out during the game, that hand. Okay, another thing. If you decide to open, you can open, let's see. Okay, here's a good one. You need 125, you put down 3 jokers. I don't advise you to do this, but if you do, that canasta has to be closed. So you can use jokers and deuces in this canasta, but you cannot go out unless you close that canasta. This is broken aces. This is broken aces. This is broken aces. Here's somebody who put down 4 aces. I don't recommend that, but if you're desperate, you do it. Here's somebody who put down 4 deuces. If you're desperate, you do it. Hoping that your partner has a couple or you pick some up in the deck. That's the idea of the game. So you can never go out, even though you have 2 canasters, if you have 7s on the board, if you put down 7s, you put down clean aces or jokers and deuces. Those are the 3 exceptions. Okay? The only thing I didn't show you before was here's a typical canasta score sheet. You can use pencil and paper and make your own score sheet, but this was bought in a store. So, Fran, so now we're going to show you what it looks like with a deal. Okay, so you cut for high card, that person deals. The person to the right of them sets up the bottom cards. So you set the bottom cards up like this. So I'm dealing, that person set up the cards. So you put down 8 cards. You count out 8 cards from the bottom. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's the turn card. Okay? When you open, the first person who opens without picking the deck draws 4 cards after they discard. So we're going to show you what that looks like. So we'll play this hand. So this person was the dealer. The person to the left of them is the person to go first. So I look at my cards. I actually have a fairly decent hand. I'm not sure you can see that. But I have 2 3s. So I put my 2 3s down, and I pick out 1 for each 3. I pick a card, and then I pick a card for my turn. So I actually picked up a good card. And I now discard a card. Now, the first round, it really doesn't make a difference what you discard, but I'm trying to open, so I'm trying to accumulate points. So I throw a 6. To this person. This is the other team now who doesn't have any 3s, so he just picks a card. And this person will throw a 5.
Not any 3s either.
Okay, so this person has a 3. He picks up 1 card for the 3 and 1 card for his turn. Okay. And this person is not able to open. They do not have the 125 points, but they do have a clean 3 of a kind. Okay, so now we'll go back over here. And I will pick my card. Oh, and I get a 3. So I just get another card for that. Oh, another 3. I get a card. Okay. So now let's see what this looks like. All righty. So I think I can open. But I can't. So I will discard a card. You always count twice before you open. Because once you put the cards down on the table, if you're wrong, you can't open, and you need 10 points extra the next hand to open. The next. All right, so I'll pick a card. It's of very little help. And I'm going to open. Not the best way, but I'm going to open. Here's my clean 3 of a kind. It's 30 points. It's 80, 100, 30. Now, I discard a card, and I draw 4. Okay, and the 3 goes. Yeah, go ahead. Okay, now it's my turn. Now, let's see. Good shape here. I draw a card. And let's see what I'm going to do. I'm going to throw this card. Okay, now we'll go back over here. Play musical chairs. And draw a card. Doesn't help me. Okay, so there are now 5 cards on this lay, which means that if I throw a 9 and he has 2 more 9s, he can't pick the deck because he can only pick up to 4. If there was only 4 cards on this lay like that, then if he had 2 more 9s in his hand and I threw a 9, he could pick it up. But since I know he can't pick it up, I'm going to throw it out. So, I'm going to draw a card. And since there's 5 here, and I picked one up in the talone, I'll put the 6th one, so I only need 1 more 9 for Canasta. And I will throw a 4. Aha! Aha! Well, guess what? I have 2 10s. So I can pick the deck. So I put out show my 2 10s, and I pick the deck, and I put down the 10s. And I know there's another 10 in here, and I know there's another 9 in here. So I get to put all those cards down. So this is a natural canasta worth 500 points. This is a broken canasta worth 300 points. Now, I have to put all those cards back in my hand. Well, now I'm thinking, well, you know what? They haven't opened. They have a bunch of 3s. We have our 2 canastas. I'm going to put down whatever I can and hope my partner can help me get out. So I have, okay, another thing you have to remember, when the tray is empty like this, you cannot throw a dead card, which is a 9 or a 10, an ace or a 7. So I'm putting down all the lays I can of 3. Of course, that's what lays consisted of. And I have to throw a live card, so that's the live card I'm throwing. Okay, when you get down to 3 cards, you have to announce it. Okay, so I'll draw a card. Let's see. I can open now. Okay, so I'm going to open this way. $70, $80, $90, $100, $30. Okay, and I throw a card. And I draw 3.
Because you're the second person to open.
Because I'm the second person to open. So the first person gets 4, the second person gets 3. You can never draw cards after the turn card. So if it comes down to the end and nobody's open, then somebody does open. Once the turn card is turned, you cannot draw any more cards from the deck. The idea is to have 8 cards in here and keep track of your 3s so you know whether you'll have 1 or 2 turns left after that turn card. All righty, so now I pick a card. And I picked an 8. Wow. And I have 3 6s also. And I have a dead card, so I'll get rid of it.
Okay. I want to protect our threes, so I'm closing the jacks.
Okay. My good partner. So with this, since we made a canasta, the 3s are not minus, but they're not plus either. They're just not against us.
All right, I'm hoping maybe they have 2 more 5s there. Chances are probably not.
Well,
I know what I'm doing.
okay. I wish I knew what I was doing. 9s are dead, so I'll throw a 9. So. I actually do have 2 5s.
I was hoping.
So now we each have 2 canastas, our 3s count. So we have 3 6, 3 and 3. That's 1,200 points so far. We're doing good. And now I have to throw a card, which is very interesting. Okay, so we both can go out. So I'm going to put this down, throw this out, and say 3 cards. I draw a card. I'm going to close the 6s with a deuce. So now we have 3 canastas. So now we have actually 5 and 6, 11, 1,200 points, if we can get out. And I will throw an ace. And I'll have 3 cards. Oh, wow. I thought we were going to be able to go out before you. Three cards. I draw a card. Okay. Now you got to be careful to keep track of the aces and 7s. Okay?
3 cards.
Dead card, so I'm throwing it. Still 3 cards. Three cards.
Sit there.
Yeah, just a hint. Try to remember what's thrown in the deck. Especially keep track of the 7s and the aces if you can. It's helpful. Because if you find that there's 4 or 5 of them in the deck, you may want to pick it. Especially if there's 5. Oh, I got a 3. Draw another card. Two cards.
Still 3 cards.
Another dead card. Another dead card.
Getting your exercise.
Yes, getting my steps in for the morning. Another dead card.
Two cards.
I'll close the eights.
And it's dirty, so it's a black on top.
Right. Natural canastas have a red card on top. Broken canastas have a black one. And I will throw two cards. Two cards. Another three. Turn card. Okay. One card.
Still two cards.
Okay. So just remember, on a broken canasta, you have to have 5 cards of the suit. You can only have 2 wild cards. Oh my God. Still 2 cards. Ooh,
What was that one? The very beginning game.
except for your threes.
Got the threes, yeah.
And I'll throw this. 1 card. And I could throw anything because this person only had 1 card. Out, partner?
Yeah.
Yes, he says out. And I put this down, and the card's down. That's the end of the game. Okay? So now you figured out how many points you've had. And I'll do it on here.
1,700 points.
So we have,
Yes, we have 7.
well, let me do this. 3, can you see this? 3, 6, 9, 10, 13, and 5 is 18, and 1 for going out is 19. So that's our base is 1,900. Okay? Then I would count up all these cards.
We have to take off minus.
Oh, minus whatever this is. Okay, so I have
Minus 25.
25 points from here. Here's 25 points. Comes off. Okay?
We have
Now,
5, minus 8, 9, and minus 1,700.
you have 9, and 5 is 12, and 3 is 15, right?
Yeah. 5 and 3 is 8 and 9.
9.
9 and 8 is
17, sorry.
As a base.
And here's my points.
And we take off 20 points.
Okay? We're not going to sit here and count the cards. We can
You
deal.
have the base, and then you just add the other.
Okay, well, yeah, we should count the cards to show you how to do it. Okay, so this is how you do it.
I'll do ours.
I'm just going to do one side.
Okay.
Well, you do those, okay? Here's 50 and 20 is 70, 80, 90, 100. 10, 20, 30, 50, 60, 70, 80, 100. 40, 50, 60, 80, 100, and 5. The 3s do not get counted again. So we have 305 points.
This side has 415.
2315 and 2000. It's a very close game. And we still only need 125 to open. Are we over?
Yeah. Yeah. We finished the game.
Can't finish the game.
I know we finished one round.
Finish one round. Okay. All right, so for this morning, I'll leave this up. I'm going to put this right over here. That's my email address. If you have any questions, put in the subject matter Canasta, and I will answer your questions. We'll probably do a second class to this because there's a bunch of special canastas that we didn't talk about, and ways to go out without having two canastas. Have a pleasant day. I hope you learned something.